Welcome, we're here at Onawa Life Center, right? I said it right? Onawa Life Center here in El Paso, Texas. So I'm going to welcome you to the intro of this pranayama class, then I'll cut it. So you get the intro. So the vocabulary for the experience grows the more you talk about it. This has an intimate connection to prana. Prana is mind. Mind is prana. They're inseparable. The heart and the diaphragm connect, and they have since essentially the beginning. When you had enough cells, as the zygote, I believe it was, but it definitely, pre-birth, little tadpole, before tadpole, but it was multicellular. Eventually, the multicellular clump folds over itself, and where it connects is the heart and diaphragm, and that persists today. The diaphragm is this umbrella-shaped muscle. So when it contracts, you know how like the bicep contracts? When it contracts, it flattens. But the heart is right here. It touches the diaphragm. They're connected. When you breathe on a rhythm, it massages the heart to that rhythm. And the heart naturally wants to fall into sync with that because you're a machine. And the machine wants to use less energy to accomplish the same tasks. You're an efficiency machine, among other labels. So, breath and prana, a lot of people have made that connection, or make that connection, that breathing is pranayama. In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, one of the authoritative texts on yoga, it says, yoga happens when the breath stops. When all fluctuations of breathing stop, that's yoga. But in the Yoga Sutras, another, maybe the other authoritative text on Hatha Yoga, even though it's Raja Yoga, says when mind fluctuations stop is yoga. So if you know algebra, you could make an equation sign here and you could say when breath stops equals when mind stops. Because they both equal yoga. See that? So mind and breath, they're very similar. I like to think of the diaphragm as the breath and the heart as mind. When the heartbeats stop, mind does things. So, or does no things. We have a 2-hour session together. We can't do breathing for 2 hours. The longest I ever did was maybe like 90 minutes. And, that's phenomenal. So I want to give you some of those experiences. Let me just tap into that 90-minute experience. Vasodilation occurred. Vasodilation is when you breathe less than normal. So on an average human being, with none of us here are, but for an average-sized human being, about 4.5 liters of air per minute. That's called minute ventilation. If you breathe any less than that, it's called hypoventilating. And if you breathe any more than that, it's called hyperventilating. It doesn't need to be it's just any more than your metabolism is calling for is hyperventilating. When you hyperventilate, you alkalize the body. So you accumulate oxygen. Oxygen raises the pH of your body. A lot of things happen when you alkalize the body. You get stronger. You charge your body with energy, electrical potential energy. You get less blood flow to the brain and more blood flow to the superficial large muscle groups. You develop a little bit of hunger. You get hungry. And you don't need to go to the bathroom anymore, if you did. You also become very sensitive. Your nerves become very sensitive. You may become very emotional. And so a lot of times if you have like emotional breakthroughs, or if you leave yoga class feeling highly emotional, or if you don't really want to be touched, you probably were breathing too much in your class. So the opposite, let's clarify the opposite. So minute ventilation, 4.5 liters per air. Any less than that, 4.45 liters per air, whatever, is hypoventilating. It doesn't do much if it's just a little bit less, but if you accumulate that over 60 minutes, it does a lot. And that acidifies the body. So you accumulate carbon dioxide in the blood, right? It's the byproduct of metabolism, one of the byproducts. This dissolves into the blood, it becomes carbonic acid. You don't need to remember all of these things. What you remember is breathe less than you need, your blood acidifies. So what are some tells that your blood is acidifying? Because the benefit of pranayama is not only for when I sit down and breathe. It's so that the rest of my life has benefited. So use the pranayama to be able to check in with yourself. Am I acidic or alkaline? Am I agitated? Or acidic bodies have high pain tolerance. Acidic bodies have high pain tolerance because the nerves are less sensitive. Acidic bodies are less hungry. So if you want to control your hunger, breathe less. Acidic bodies, one of the byproducts of getting an acidic body is you have to pee, because the kidneys balance the pH of the body, so it will generate uric acid to balance all the carbonic acid in the blood. Which is why I say if you need to pee and you can't, like when I'm driving here to El Paso and it's a long way until the next gas station, I just start hyperventilating and I reabsorb that uric acid. It's a tap. You're hacking the code of your body, is Hatha Yoga. What else? Acidic body. If you get too acidic, you might get a headache. And if you get too alkaline, you might get the tingles. In both directions, if you go too far, you'll pass out. So that's not what we're going for. Yeah, it's not what we're going for. It's fun, but it's not what we're going for. Let's see, what else? Okay, so when you acidify the body, your vascular system dilates. This induces an experience like meditation. In meditation, when they've researched people who meditate, they note that they tend to be hypoventilating when they achieve states of meditation. So there seems to be a correspondence between breathing less than you need and high states of awareness. So it's called vasodilation, which is what I experienced in that 90-minute pranayama session. Also what happens in vasodilation is the trachea dilates. The sinuses dilate. Your body prepares itself to get more air and send what little air it has to the brain, heart, lungs, and liver. So you actually get more blood to the brain when you breathe less than you need. But you just want to flirt with that edge of just under what you need. Because if you go too far, you get more blood to the brain, but it has no oxygen in it. So you want to have oxygen in the system, but less than you need. And that will preferentially go to the brain. Now that's just during pranayama, because it would be pretty hard to do like manual labor if you were trying to hypoventilate. It might not even be that good for your body. So breathing less than you need leaves a residue of acidity in the body. That's no good. That leaches calcium from your bones. People who only meditate but don't exercise break their hips when they get older. So you naturally seek out the other mechanism to change your body pH, which is, okay, if mechanism 1 was the air you breathe, what's mechanism 2? That's part of air. So mechanism 1 is breathing, mechanism 2 is eating. The food you eat, the other thing that goes into the body, will change your body pH. So people who breathe less than normal, people who meditate a lot, tend to seek out alkalizing diets, which is fresh, raw fruits and vegetables. The opposite is true. People who hyperventilate tend to seek out acidic, because the body needs to be in balance. So that's meat, proteins, spicy foods, fried foods, medicines. All of these things are acidifying. I'm not knocking anything. I like spicy stuff. I like fermented stuff. So it's just understand your cravings. For example, if you're doing yoga and you get hungry in the middle, you're probably breathing too much. Right? It's just little clues like that. If you're doing pranayama and you're getting hungry, you're probably hyperventilating. Maybe that's what you want to do. It's just a map. Nobody gave us a map of how our body works. Nobody gave us an instruction manual, like you get your electrical map for the building, but where's the map for your body? All right? And there is maps, but they're very old and they're on other languages. And it's like, what do I want to go? So let's just go off of modern science. This is all physiology. And so we're about to do some breathing. I'll give you some exercises, and I'll kind of calibrate where you're at in your breathing practice. And you may know something I don't know. You may know more than I know on something. So the goal is to get you something that you can practice. On the way here, I didn't have time. I gave 2 massage sessions. There's a lot of traffic. They wanted to talk after, so I talked after with them. I got right here. My intention was to go home and do my breathing practice before I got here. And that's why you walk in on me and I'm doing my yoga therapy, because I didn't have a chance to. And so I did 3 rounds of Nadi Shodhana on the drive here, alternate nostril breathing. And so I'm interested in introducing what's most helpful for you, what gets the most effect for just, like a pressure point, or I don't know, there's probably other analogies, but you get it. And yeah, I'm looking for a way to wrap up this video really well and succinctly. I don't have a good one, so I'll just kind of end it there, and then we're going to start doing our pranayama work. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Namaste.